This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with the newest addition to the Feile Fight Night, Callum Bradley. How are you,
All
mate?
right, Steve. All good. How are you?
All's fantastic. Busy, but sure, that's what you want.
Yep.
Last time we spoke back in March, you were 13 months out of the ring. Obviously, coming now next month, there'll be 18. It'll be pretty much 18 months out of the ring. But you've obviously a purpose of all the training now, the sacrifice you've made, and not getting fights. It's obviously a relief now to know you're going to be back in action.
I know it was a frustrating 16 or 17 months there, but now it's glad to just get something penciled in now. I've sort of knew about it sort of for a wee while, so sort of working that extra bit hard. But now 4 weeks left to camp now, so nearly there.
It's like a kid at Christmas sort of thing. You're waiting on Santa Claus sort of coming and going, happy days, I know it's coming, happy days. But
like my debut over.
That's what it'll feel like. You know, you'd four fights pretty much nice and quickly. Obviously 3 in the Ulster Hall, and you fought in the Feile in 2019, which is probably your standout sort of point to then. And at the same time, it was what got your brother Tyrone obviously back in the sport as well. So you fond memories of obviously 2019 dressing like a Mexican.
You're right. I know, with a headband.
But like, you know, I guess when you sort of think back then, you go and fighting in the Feile. You know, I think it was 10,000 there the last time, and obviously then sort of looking to kick on, and then COVID happens. You sort of listen to Eddie Hearn's advice, and we're like, stay ready. You've been posting up, going, I'm ready for a fight. Give me a fight. Just wasn't happening. Did you have to torture much with Jamie when you knew the Feile was going to be happening to get on the card, or?
Sort of just giving the wee digs, you know, saying that I'm ready. You know what I mean? I was putting up social media. I was training all the time, and you know, I wanted on that card. It was been that long, so I felt like I was ready to go. Do you know what I mean? I wanted on it.
You were itching that much for a fight, you were even calling us out.
I know. Fight anybody.
And obviously, I was giving you the Canelo references back, obviously in his English, you know, but you would have just fought anybody just to get out and get active again. You'd probably even have fought a heavyweight just to get a fight.
Oh, what?
Get somebody to give you a piggyback or something like that, and you know, just to make the weight, you know.
I know.
But obviously, you know, like, you know, by the time you get back in the ring again, it'll be 18 months since you fought. Like, obviously, I know, speaking to your brother and speaking to the other ones in our works, Jim, they've all been impressed with obviously what they've seen of you, and particularly your brother Tiernan, who said he was learning things off you and things in the gym. So, like, I guess you just can't wait to get in there and probably show your improvements, because you can only talk so much. People have to obviously see it in action.
You're right. That's why, you know what I mean? You can put up as much as you want on social media, but if you don't go on and do it in the ring, you know what I mean, then there's no point. So that's why I don't really put up too much. I just stay behind the scenes and sort of just work my ass off, you know what I mean? I believe I'm one of the hardest trainers. You know, I never really give myself credit. I just sort of just get along with it. But I believe I'm one of the hardest trainers. I train 24/7 all the time. People just don't see it because they don't put it up on social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. And like, you obviously you only have your own gym and things, you know, your own ring and stuff in the house. So it's like, I guess sometimes it's like, it's finding somebody to sort of get rounds in with, but you're always there and you have all the tools ready to go. It's just sometimes just going, just give me a fight, let me show you what I can do. And I guess in some ways you're probably looking to make an impression obviously in the field, because after 18 months, probably people in MTK maybe forgot how you fought, and probably even maybe what your record was, and you know, probably forgot you were 4-0, and you know, exactly. It's like a reincarnation sort of, it's version 2 of Callum Bradley.
You're right. Hopefully it'll be a lot better version, especially after being down in the Rocks, getting the better sparring and learning more. You know what I mean? It sort of, you know, could be a blessing in disguise. Them 18 months, you know, if it's made me look back at all them fights, seeing what I've been doing wrong, seeing what I can do better. Whereas if I was fighting regularly, I wouldn't have got the chance to do that. You know what I mean? I would have been just getting ready for fight after fight. But at least them 8 months have given me time to look back. I've got a lot stronger. I've got a lot better, I feel. Even chosen sparring, obviously under Stephen as well, who's an experienced professional coach. I'm learning all the time, and I'm definitely going to show it in this next fight.
Fantastic. And obviously, I know we sort of talked a wee bit sort of off air and things in the weight, but you're going to be moving down to featherweight, which is probably more your natural weight. You're your other fight's been around about 130 and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's bringing you down to obviously like is featherweight where you're going to end, or can you go further down?
We'll see. We'll see how I make this weight. At the moment, like I'm walking about just above super featherweight now, and I used to fight at that weight. You know what I mean? To make feather. So I would like to go down to super bantam maybe if I could make it, but we'll see how we feel with this next fight first.
Definitely. And like what a card they return on. You know, looking obviously down through the list: Conlan Dehaney main event, McKenna Turov, McGregor Legrand, Paddy McCrory's obviously a great fight. Sean McComb's got a fantastic fight as well with Woodruff. And another fight obviously announced earlier this evening is McGovern and Duffy. You know, you nearly sometimes sort of, I know when you're preparing for fights and things like that, it's hard not to watch. But when you see a card of that magnitude, you know, first and foremost, I must thank Jamie for putting such a card together. First show with fans back in, first show obviously back since the pandemic's happened in Belfast. But it'd be hard for you not to lose focus of what you're doing, because you're going, I want to watch that fight, I want to watch that fight, and probably hoping you'll be on early so you can watch as much of it as possible.
Yeah, no, it's an unreal card. Like every fight's probably nearly 50-50, you know what I mean? And them main cards, Conlan Dehaney's unreal fight. Like Dehaney's been up there with the world's best. Give Roman great scrap. It was a close fight, I think, from what I remember. And then McKenna and Turov's big hitter, big puncher. That'll be an absolute scrap. The fans will be going mad for that one.
It's crazy. Like obviously, I know the last time around, some of it obviously is populated with some of Frank Warren's fighters. I think we'd actually early stage of Dennis McCann on the card, and I think his fight lasted about 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But I guess some people will look back on this card in a few years' time coming up, and they'll go, do you remember that card? What a card it was. You look at some of the cards of people growing up at the start of their careers in the sport, and obviously James DeGale and Saunders and everybody else, and there was like 4 or 5 world champions sort of starting out. Whereas for obviously some of you using this card, people look back at it and go, Craigie, there's 3 or 4 world champions fought at the Feile. It's
I know, hopefully it'll be unreal. It's stacked with talent, like, you know what I mean? Probably you couldn't get any better. It's class, just.
And I guess obviously it's a thanks to Jamie and things like that for obviously giving you an opportunity, because they could probably fill the card 3 or 4 times with the fighters that's there now. So I guess it's obviously persistence and paying off and torturing them with texts to say, give me a fight.
I know, especially there's only been nine fights been allowed on the show, and thanks to Jimmy for getting me on it, you know what I mean? I'm sure there's plenty of fighters torturing him, trying to get on it. It's a massive show, like it's probably the biggest show that beats in Belfast, you know what I mean? And then obviously with it being missed last year, so thanks to Jimmy for getting me on. He didn't forget about me.
You'll definitely repay it in kind, obviously, on the night. And obviously for fans of yourself that sort of you would have normally sold tickets and stuff to before, did any have many problems getting tickets for the show?
I think a few of them sort of missed out, but my family and stuff and my friends got sorted, so that's sort of the main thing, you know what I mean? But obviously people that missed out, it's a bit tough on them.
Definitely is. And I guess obviously, your first 4 fights, you've been used to having to sell tickets and things for a show, and you're sort of going, right, Jamie, now I'm announcing the card, when I'm getting me tickets, and you're sort of going, oh, that's right, there is no tickets to sell because of COVID. I think they're having to do track and trace. So I guess it gives you an early insight to what it may be in the future when obviously you're getting big fight purses and not having to worry about selling tickets. But it definitely takes one less stress off you having to sell tickets to pay for an opponent and everything else. So just focusing constant in the fight.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a lot less hassle, because usually even like the week of the fight, they're usually texting people saying, ticket money. You text me for tickets. Do you want them? Ticket money, whatever you mean. So it's definitely less stressful.
And obviously, we've been given the go-ahead from Jamie, thankfully. And I must obviously give him thanks for this and being able to announce your opponent. So you're going to be fighting Brett the Threat Fidoe on the Feile. Obviously, for anybody that's been watching shows the last few weeks, it obviously an upset shock win over Tyrone McCullagh in Bolton, stopping him in the 3rd round. Have you caught up with that fight? And obviously, what do you know of Brett and obviously what are you expecting sort of whenever you do get back in the ring with him?
Yeah, I watched that fight live because I was sparring Tyrone a week or two before that, preparing him for the fight, obviously. So I thought I would tune in, and thought Tyrone was, dominating him in the first 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously he just got caught with a good left hook, I think it was, that sunned him. But yeah, he's a good opponent, good comeback opponent for me after being out of the ring for 18 months. He's tough, he's durable, he can obviously bang. He's got 7 knockouts. He's beat some undefeated fighters. He's beat boys in their debut. He's beat prospects. So I can't take him for granted. You know what I mean? I need to be on my A game because one punching could change the fight.
I guess it's not giving you the opportunity to sort of have any ring rust and things like that. It's sort of making sure you're coming back and you're on point. Like obviously I can remember in the Feile 2 years ago, obviously D Sullivan obviously lost. He obviously got stopped, and not that obviously there's doubting his opponent and things like that, but it goes to show you no matter of the opponent you fight. Like people look at Brett's record and go, Callum, you're only fighting a journeyman, but anybody that sort of follows the sport regularly will know he's coming off two wins in a row. He's sort of reinvigorated himself, and I think his fight over Tyrone was obviously the biggest win of his career. So he'll not want to lose, and obviously you're there to put on a performance at the same time. So it's going to make for an interesting fight. Exactly,
Daphne. He's got 2 wins on the trot now. I think he beat a kid on his debut, and then he knocked out Tyrone. So obviously he knows what it's like. He feels good after them 2 wins. He'll want to get that feeling again. He's full of confidence. He'll be going into this fight with momentum. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he'll be coming for the win again, especially in such a big event, big card. He'll want to put on a show.
Mm-hmm. Particularly, obviously, it's sort of living up to the fact that he doesn't want that to show as a fluke as well. Will it be 4 rounds? Will it be a 4-rounder again for you? Will it go up to 6?
I've asked for 6. I wanted to go up to 6 rounds. I feel I'm ready for 6 rounds, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it just depends on the whole which way the slots are working and stuff with TV.
Definitely, and I'm sure, obviously, I know they haven't announced TV yet, but regardless, obviously, as long as you're back there and in the ring, it doesn't matter if it's 4, 6, 10. You're in there and you're back fighting again. You probably only feel like a boxer again now when you put the gloves on properly to go and fight.
Exactly, it doesn't matter to me how many rounds. I would love it. I'm fit enough for it to be 6, but obviously I would like to know if it was 4 or 6, so you can sort of set out a bit of a game plan. But it doesn't really matter.
Definitely, and what are fans obviously going to expect? And obviously on the comeback, I know you dazzled the crowds in the Ulster Hall. Coming up to get to your 4th fight. Everybody talking sort of in the background, saying improvements. Obviously, what are we going to see of version 2 of Callum Bradley when it comes back?
They're going to see a completely new and improved. I don't even like watching my first 4 fights because I just don't like the way I fought or the way I fought. You know what I mean? I'm just new and improved, especially under Stephen, sitting down in my shots and fighting like a proper professional fighter now. I'm a lot stronger. You can even see it in my body, and just new and improved. Callum Bradley, I'm going to show it on the night. Stronger, hitting harder, and we'll see on the night. It'll be interesting.
So we could potentially see Brett Fidoe obviously stop for only the 3rd time. Obviously, if you're sitting down your punches, you're punching stronger. He's probably going to maybe look at your first 4 fights and go, I've nothing to worry about. I can sort of land big punches when I want, and you're going to shock him to his boots. Probably the first time he comes in to engage with you.
Exactly. That's the plan. It'd be an absolute statement if I got the stoppage win over Brett Fidoe. I think he's only been stopped twice in over 80 fights.
Mm.
I think it was Dennis McCann and Selby. I think it was.
I noticed Dennis was one, and I'm scrolling obviously down through it so far, and I was going, I'm getting blurry vision. Sort of, I'm looking at I see obviously defeats, but obviously couldn't see another stoppage. But I
think it was Andrew Selby, the young Selby.
It goes to show you, I guess, sometimes the caliber of the opponent a journeyman can be. When somebody like Brett Fidoe's fought 80 times as a journeyman, I know they've been stopped twice. So credit where credit's due. He's sort of helping fighters along, but at the same time, if you don't go on 100%, he's going to go out and try and take your head off.
Exactly. He's a tough wee nut. You know what I mean? It shows he obviously shows he's got power as well. So that's why you can't take your eye off the ball, and you can take you out. You know what I mean?
And I'm not looking ahead too far, obviously, from after the Feile, but obviously after 18 months of inactivity, I'm guessing you want to be kept as active as possible and going another another big run of getting on every Belfast fight card or any fight card they're sort of putting on?
Definitely, that's the plan. After 18 months, I want to get back on it. Hopefully out in September, maybe again if they have another show. I just want to get straight back out. I'm ready to go.
And I guess obviously you're starting to build up now as well. 4-rounders, 6-rounders, sort of probably hopefully getting to the stage of Irish titles and stuff like that. You can sort of start to dream quicker, and I guess you're going to get a good rankings boost over this as well. So it's going to put you more in the domain of fighting for belts. So you never know, in a couple of fights time, you'll obviously have a belt to wear around Oma at the weekends.
No, that's the plan. You know what I mean? That's why I'm in boxing, to win these titles. But obviously, I'm only 20. I'm 22. I want to get these good, tough fights under my belt. Build up the rounds, and then we'll start looking at titles. Hopefully, maybe at the end next year.
Definitely, there's always something to aim for,
Yeah.
But look, obviously, well, thank you for catching up with us. Obviously, I know we sort of held it back and things today because we knew that the announcement was sort of coming. But I'm sure we'll obviously keep in touch over the next few weeks, and I'm sure we'll hopefully get a wee catch up on Fight Week in Belfast.
Definitely, can't wait. Thanks for having me on, Stephen.
100%, Callum. We'll catch up again soon.
Cheers. Good luck.
Cheers. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye.